Department of Sports Sciences, University of Calcutta, for taking time off from their busy schedule and accept our invitation as guest speakers of this webinar. The outbreak of COVID-19 and the worldwide pandemic challenged the global healthcare system, global economy, and also threatened human freedom, dignified existence, and federalism. Living with this unprecedented situation, we still need to move on forward. We need solidarity, hope to fight the crisis and accept the new normal life together. The addresses by our eminent and distinguished resource persons of this webinar will enrich ourselves and help us to be resilient in this situation. Lastly, I greet, welcome, and convey my sincere thanks to all of you for attending this webinar. All participants, please keep your microphone and video off during the entire session. Now, the keynote address of this webinar will be delivered by respected Dr. Shobhun Yogi, Officer in Charge, Krishnagar Government College, who is also the patron of these programs. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Namaskar and good afternoon to all the registered participants in this webinar on physiological well-being during COVID-19 pandemic, being jointly organized by Physiology Department and IQAC of Krishnagar Government College. I wholeheartedly welcome Professor Gautam Pal, Professor Pro Vice Chancellor, Kolkata University, and Professor Somnath Gangopadhyay, Professor and in charge of Occupational Economics Laboratory, University of Calcutta. In this occasion, I would really like to mention that our college is in the midst of celebrating its 175th years of establishment. We were supposed to celebrate with so many activities in the field of academic, sports, quiz, seminars, etc. But due to the onset of COVID-19 pandemic about 4 months back, the college in terms of students' activity but nowadays, due to huge technological advancement in the field of communication, at least through this type of video conferencing, we are able to host webinars. Today, the webinar on physiological well-being, which I think is the need of the hour, will be discussed and presented before you by two most competent persons with the issues of prevention, management, and working from home. I think all of you will be enriched to a very, very good extent. Once again, I welcome Professor Paul and Professor Gangopadhyay, and now I hand over the microphone to Dr. Moiti Banerjee, Head Physiology Department of our college, to continue with the program. Thank you.
Moitridi.
Dr. Moiti Banerjee. Dr. Moiti Banerjee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the scientific session has started, and in this session, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Sir, University of Kolkata, Professor Gautam Pal, sir, is going to deliver his lecture on COVID-19 prevention and management. It is my great honor and pleasure to formally introduce sir in front of all participants in this webinar. Professor Dr. Gautam Pal, sir, is acting as Pro Vice Chancellor, University of Kolkata, Professor of Physiology, and Chair Research Committee, Department of Physiology, University of Kolkata, West Bengal. He has been elected as President of the Section of Medical Sciences, including Physiology, for 2020 to 21 in 108th session of Indian Science Congress. Currently, the Association of Physiologists. Here, he has the Department of Physiology as head of 3 times in 2-year term, as Dean, Faculty of Sciences, University of Kolkata, in 3-year full term, and Director, College Development Council of University of Kolkata. He has done MSc, MPhil and PhD in Physiology from University of Calcutta. He has obtained BSc from University of Kolkata. Apart from his administrative excellencies, he teaches neurophysiology in MSc, MPhil and PhD programs at University of Kolkata and practices research on molecular neurotoxicology. He has more than 170 publications in international and national journals and has published 9 books. He has already supervised 18 PhD theses and more than 100 MSc theses. In a career spanning more than 32 years, his contributions have been recognized through many awards, fellowships, and honors. A few of those recognitions are IUPS Fellowship 1997 of International Union of Physiological Sciences, IUPS Young Investigator Award 2001, FABMS of the Indian Association of Biomedical Scientists 2008, Dr. A.M.S. Krishnamurti Award 2010 of IABMS, Ramendra Sundar Sinha Gold Medal 2011 of Physiological Society of India, Mahasweta Devi Smriti Award 2017 of Uddar Akash Publishing House, Kolkata, and Raj Krishna Datta Memorial Award 2018 of Indian Science Congress. Now I request respected sir to start his lecture. It is such an honor for us to have you today between us. Sir.
মাইক্রোফোনটা অফ আছে, মাইক্রোফোনটা অফ আছে।
Kushi?
হ্যাঁ,
Could you hear
yes,
me?
yes sir, yes
Yes,
sir,
sir.
Could you hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is Gautam. He practices teaching and research in physiology at Kolkata University. I myself extend my namaskar and gratitude to Honorable Principal of Krishnagar Government College, Dr. Niyogi, Honorable Coordinator of the Internal Quality Assurance Cells of this college, my esteemed colleague, Honorable Head of the Department, Dr. Banerjee, colleagues of the Department of the Physiology, staff and students of this college, all officers and faculty members of the Krishnagar Government College, all research scholars, professors, scientists who have attended this webinar and are being present in the network. Thanks, Dr. Banerjee, for nice introduction, but I feel I am a tiny person. My field of research is neurophysiology, neurotoxicology, reproductive physiology, a few other physiology and interdisciplinary branches of the life sciences. But truly, I'm not the microbiologist, I'm not the virologist, and I am not the right person to speak on that topic. I request you kindly to forgive me because I will try to disseminate my thoughts within my limitations. And truly, I feel happy, I feel honored that I have been invited by a college which is one of the oldest and renowned college in our country, not only in our state. And Krishnagar Government College has witnessed a few landmark events through their alumni in several fields, in literary fields, in scientific fields, in administration field, in social fields. And I came to know that Dr. Niyogi has expressed that right now Krishnagar Government College is celebrating the 175th year of establishment in our state. I truly congratulate the principals, the entire fraternities of the Krishnagar Government College for their achievements. Thank you all. I begin my topic in regard to COVID-19. Let me introduce the topic before you. That means I want to say you that what are the objectives of this seminar? At the outset, I'd like to disseminate you that COVID-19, which stands for Coronavirus Disease 2019, and you must know that World Health Organization in February has declared COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern. What are the reasons? Because it's a very rare event. I think COVID pandemic is a historical pandemic disease. At first, I want to clear for my own sake, but not for all, because I know there are several professors are in the web network, and so many well-known teachers, school teachers, college teachers are in the network. They are, in terms of academic achievements in this field, they are more superior than me, but accidentally I have been invited. So I want to clear at first, we have expressed COVID-19 is a pandemic disease. Let me introduce, in epidemiology, there are three terms are very popular. One is endemic, second one is epidemic, and third one is pandemic. Endemic means any disease which occurs in particular epidemiology, which happens or affected in a particular group of population in a state. Endemic, second one is epidemic, and third one is it is confined in a particular zone. Endemic means of a country. In a disease, so for example, malaria occurs. Malaria in epidemiology, which happens, but epidemic in a particular group of population in a state. Endemic, large number of epidemic and people. I mean, almost all in a particular zone. Endemic in the world are affected by any disease. It is called epidemic. Say, for example, AIDS epidemic. Pandemic is a very rare event. At the same time, all groups of people in the world are affected by any disease. And unfortunately, in 2020 is the year which may be designated as for COVID-19 pandemic. And then let me introduce what are the reasons for the occurrence of COVID-19 pandemic. Just in the section of introduction, I'd like to mention that only one thing, that is unhygienic lifestyle of the human beings in the world, is responsible for the transmission of COVID-19 pandemic, occurrence of the COVID-19 pandemic. What does it mean? I mean, unscientific, unhygienic lifestyles mean unhygienic behavior, not only in the homes, but also in the general common public places. While I am moving, traveling in the train, while I am traveling in the bus, while I am observing any scene in the cinema halls, while I am marketing at the mall or marketplace, when I am using a common washroom, when I am using a toilet, the total chaos, I mean, total non-obedience of the public health principles by the human beings is responsible for the occurrence and transmission of the COVID-19 pandemic. And at last, in the introduction section, I'd like to mention that COVID-19 is a very serious, historical pandemic. Why? It is highly infectious, it is highly fatal, and right now we are not in a position to cure any pandemic patient by by giving drugs, vaccines, and other therapies absolutely for COVID-19 pandemic. In introduction section, I could summarize COVID-19 is a historic pandemic disease. Number two, it happens due to unhygienic lifestyles of the human beings in the world. Number three, it is highly infectious and fatal. That's why we need awareness. Why? The only option is to halt, to obstruct the velocity of transmission of the COVID-19 disease. The main objectives of this webinar is, my talk is to aware the people what is COVID-19 in a nutshell, how it is transferred, how it is diagnosed, how it is managed, and specifically with the assistance of the physiological knowledge. And please forgive me, I don't want to educate all the peoples who are present in the webinar. Actually, they are also educators, good educators. I want to educate the common peoples through you. And please allow me to begin my lecture from the second point. In the second point, I want to introduce about coronavirus, because COVID-19 is a coronavirus disease. And at first, I want to say that what is corona? We must aware about the English term corona. Very much we are aware about the corona. In physics, in geography, we must know the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. And we have experiences. We experienced to observe the solar eclipses or lunar eclipses. During full eclipse, during eclipse, we could see the, circle of light around the sun during solar eclipse. That circle of light is called corona, or circle of light around the moon during lunar eclipse is called corona. And the same concept is used to designate the virus responsible for the etiologenesis of the COVID-19. And COVID-19 coronavirus, and why it is called coronavirus, I will describe later on. If we see under the transmission electron microscope or by any instrument, we could see that the coronavirus, I mean, the body of the coronavirus is surrounded by some types of spikes, which are called coronavirus spikes. It will be discussed later on. And it actually shows, I mean, its texture shows, I mean, thrones like structures. It exhibits throne like structures of any queen or king. And specifically, the spikes are arranged in a manner to form the corona of that virus. That's why it is called coronavirus. And COVID-19 is a coronavirus disease. The causal agent of the coronavirus disease is called SARS-CoV-2. SARS means Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome 2019 virus. CoV means coronavirus, and 19 is a abbreviated form of the 2019 SARS-CoV-2. And it is not the new, ladies and gentlemen. The world had experienced the first coronavirus disease in 1960, particularly in China. And the world also experienced other two types of coronavirus disease, which is called SARS coronavirus disease. I mean, SARS coronavirus, not 19, not COVID-19. Particularly in 2002, in Japan, in China, Southeast China, in Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, and other parts of the Southeast, Malaysia, Singapore, and other parts of the Southeast Asia. And MERS-CoV, MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus. In 2012, it has erupted in the Saudi Arabia in 2012, and from Saudi Arabia, it had transmitted to the in a large scale into the South Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, coronavirus is not the new disease, but what is the new? COVID-19 virus, SARS coronavirus 2 virus, which has been named by International Committee for Studies on Coronavirus in February 2020. Before that, in 1st February 2020, World Health Organization, before the identification of that virus, I mean the agent of the COVID-19, it was designated as 2019 novel coronavirus. But after their exposure of the identity, they are named as SARS coronavirus 2 in February 12 of this year. Since February, it is called SARS coronavirus 2. And I could repeat, COVID-19 is caused by SARS coronavirus 2. It's a totally new coronavirus in terms of virulence, in terms of structure that will be discussed later on. In the third point, I'd like to convey you about the general structure of the coronavirus, I mean SARS coronavirus 2. Like any virus, we could not see any virus by naked eye. We need any high-end instruments or electron microscope or scaling electron microscope to see the structure or size and shape of the virus. And SARS coronavirus 2 is a coronavirus. Its diameter ranges from 40 nanometer to 170 nanometer. What is new about SARS coronavirus 2? It is pleomorphic. It might be circular or semicircular, but as per the size of the host cells, as per the shape of the host cell, it is the master to orient its shape. And that's why its size can be changed from 40 nanometer to 170 nanometer. And you must know that generally the diameter of the virus ranges from 20 nanometer to 400 nanometer. And we must know that poliomyelitis virus, do you know what is its diameter? The poliomyelitis diameter is 30 nanometer. You could imagine 1 granules of a salt, and poliomyelitis virus is 10,000 times smaller than a single granule of a salt, of table salt. You could imagine the size of the virus. And then let me introduce about the general structure of the coronavirus. I'm sorry that I have no slides. Just I give you some concept. Coronavirus, you could imagine it's a round structure, football-like structures, circular structure. And within the structure, like any virus, it contains proteins and nuclear material, genetic material. And coronavirus, I mean SARS coronavirus 2, contain a single strand RNA as the genetic material, which can be abbreviated as double sRNA. And we must know the total nucleotide number of the single strand RNA of the SARS coronavirus. It contains 2989 nucleotide bases. And like any virus, it contains RNA as genetic material. Not all virus contain RNA. Some virus contain DNA. Some virus contain RNA, double-strand RNA. Some virus contain single-strand RNA. And you must know some viruses, they contain single-strand RNA. And you must know that dengue virus, which is also epidemic, dengue virus also has the genetic material which contains single-strand RNA. AIDS virus, which contains single-strand RNA. And the nucleoprotein or nucleocapsid is surrounded by envelope. And from the envelope, you must know, just I have reiterated, that numerous nail-like structure, in Bengali it is called perek, nail-like structure are surrounded. These are called spikes. And do you know, in Bengali, some fruits is called pani phal. The spikes had two components. One is called neck and other is called head. The head portion of the coronavirus spikes looks like just a shape of the panifal, which is a fruit, And I could summarize that coronavirus is a RNA virus. It contains a single-strand RNA as the genetic material. It's a pleomorphic virus and generally round. Its shape can be changed according to the shape and size of the host cell. And we could recognize, you could understand the virus if any swab samples or tissue samples you could isolate from the corona affected peoples, and you could prepare the tissue samples and observe under the scanning electron microscope the entire morphology you could see, and you could see through the transmission electron microscope you could see the entire genetic material and also nucleocapsid and also the spike. And the recent high-end instrument which is called, you could take the image and computed tomography imaging. You could draw the image of that virus. In the fourth point, I could try to give you some informations. The main thing, the main part of this topic, that human has been contaminated by the coronavirus too. Till to the date, 7 types of coronavirus has been discovered that could infect human beings. But truly speaking, SARS coronavirus is a new one, is a dangerous one. What has happened? What are the facts? So that we had contracted SARS coronavirus. I could give you one scientific evidence. Scientist has exposed that the source of the human coronavirus might be pangolin. The scales, the flesh, meat of the pangolin are used in the China. The meat of the pangolin are sold regularly in the wet market in the China. Scientists had observed that 80% of the pangolin carries corona. And we could say that pangolin is the intermediate for transmission of the virus to the humans. We could discover the, gene sequences of the spike proteins, one of the spike proteins, the genes which is responsible for the synthesis of coronavirus spike proteins. The genes isolated from the virus, which is found in the human beings, and genes isolated from the virus, which is inhabited in the pangolin, shows 91% similarities. It may happen that in any way, coronavirus has transmitted from the pangolin to the human beings, and you know that coronavirus is the master. In Bengali, it is called Ostad, to mutate itself from day to day, from month to month. It can change it, not only their shape and size, it can change their genetic material also by means of the mutation. It may happen during the transmission. Coronavirus, SARS coronavirus has transmitted from the pangolin to human being. and in human being in any way or outside the human body, it has been the genetic material of the coronavirus has been mutated, and after mutation coronavirus has infected the human beings, and that's why the human beings, and right now we could say that entire world, more than 174 countries have been affected by the SARS coronavirus. And I could cite here one history. You must know that in 2019, the COVID-19 has been diagnosed in Wuhan city of Hubei province of the China. And that individual shows a salient symptoms which is not similar with the symptoms of the influenza, pneumonia. It is very salient symptoms. And we found history that affected individuals had visited the Huanan, which is situated Huanan market, which is famous wet market where meat, so many wildlife are sold in the China for edible regions. The affected person had visited the Huanan market in Wuhan city. From that history, we could trace a short pathway that it may happen coronavirus has transmitted through places, meats of the pangolin to affected persons, affected person, COVID-19 affected persons of the Wuhan. And from that affected persons, due to ignorance, at the time it was known that what is COVID-19, how it happens, what is its causal agent. We were totally ignorant. That's why by means of the air transport, by means of the plane, due to travel, COVID-19 has transmitted to the entire world. That is the reasons. And it is not only the fact, it has the history, because you know that in 2002, SARS coronavirus had erupted in the Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, and other countries.
Sorry, I think Professor Paul has got disconnected somehow. So we can wait for a few moments so that he can rejoin.
Just wait. We are just waiting to reconnect him.
This is a problem.
This is a problem. হ্যাঁ বুঝি জানি না, সৌরপ্রিয়কে তো কেটে গেছে, স্যারের লাইনটা কেটে গেছে। ঠিক আছে, হ্যালো, কানেকশন কেটে গেছে দেখ স্যার। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, নেটটা স্লো হয়ে গেছে। ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা, ফোনটা ধরে আছি নাকি, না অসুবিধা হবে? হুম হুম ওকে।
We are trying to contact Professor Pal.
I have already contacted to Professor Pal, and he is just trying to join again. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
you are
yes,
audible.
ঠিক
Okay.
ঠিক আছে, let's sir join. We have to wait for 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
A technical problem. Please bear with us.
Yes. আমি সেটাই বুঝতে পারলাম না যে অটো ডিসকানেক্টেড হঠাৎ করে কেন হয়ে গেল। ঠিক আছে, দেখছি স্যার আর কি। Kindly mute all of you. Kindly mute all of you.
Could you hear me? Could you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are
Could
audible.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Sorry for technical interruption. And just what I was telling you that SARS coronavirus, I mean COVID-19 virus, has been transmitted probably from pangolin. And we have also other evidences in the history of coronavirus disease. In 2002, China, Singapore, and other Southeast Asian countries were affected with SARS coronavirus, SARS coronavirus, and the genetic material. If you, compare with the genetic material of the SARS coronavirus and the coronavirus, which is obtained from the coronavirus of the civet cat, it showed 90% similarities. And from that scientific evidences, we could scientifically say that SARS coronavirus was transmitted from civet cat to human beings. And in 2012, MERS, mass coronavirus, which was occurred in the Middle East, was transferred from from dromedary camels. Coronavirus, which was isolated from the dromedary camels, shows similar genetic sequences with the genetic sequences of the coronavirus, which was isolated from the human beings. From that historical evidences, we could say that SARS coronavirus, virus for the COVID-19 disease, might be transmitted from pangolin to human beings. And could you hear me? Okay. Could you hear me? Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
And then
স্যারের মাইক্রোফোন বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে দেখা যাচ্ছে।
স্যার কল্যাণীতে আসলে
কৌশিক।
ইন্টারনেট প্রবলেম হচ্ছে। স্যার ওই কল্যাণীতে ইন্টারনেট প্রবলেম হচ্ছে, বোঝা যাচ্ছে।
স্যারের মাইক্রোফোনটা তো বন্ধ দেখাচ্ছে।
স্যার মাইক্রোফোনটা অফ হয়ে গেছে। মাইক্রোফোনটা আনমিউট করতে।
আরে এটা
ইয়েস স্যার।
শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
হ্যাঁ। ইয়েস স্যার। ইয়েস স্যার। ইয়েস স্যার।
We could diagnose coronavirus by molecular diagnosis through RT-PCR system. And there are two options, rapid diagnosis test, antigen test and antibody test. When virus invades in the human body, any foreign particles, maybe virus, maybe bacteria or viral proteins, they are treated as antigen. And by matching with known antibody, we could detect the identity of the coronavirus. And we can get that. most of the reliable diagnosing test is the molecular diagnosis, that means the RT-PCR systems. Okay, and then let me convey the main parts of that talk, that is the symptoms. Like other diseases, COVID-19 has some specific symptoms, some general symptoms. The individuals show some pathophysiological symptoms, fevers, dry cough, sore throat, diarrhea, tiredness, extreme fatigue. And you must know the primary COVID-19 symptoms may be called, rapid shallow breathing, not the respiratory distress syndrome. In extreme cases, the corona patient shows respiratory distress syndrome. And some patients, other patients who is suffering from, diabetes, cancers, kidney failure, they show sepsis, due to damage of the blood vessels. They show sepsis and multi-organ failures. And let me discuss about what are the reasons for the rapid shallow breathing. You must know that as a physiological regions in our brain, one center which is called respiratory control pattern generator, and in layman's language, it is called medulla. It has inspiratory center, it has expiratory center. Inspiratory center is active center. It induces inspiration, inhalation of the air. And exhalation in normal is a passive process. And how the inspiration ends and expiration starts, you must know that. Two things are responsible. Number one is neurological region, that is called in lung, one receptor cells, lung alveolar epithelial cells, type 3 epithelial cells, which acts as a receptor cells, it's activated. When it is activated, when the alveolar carbon dioxide concentration is increased. When alveolar carbon dioxide concentration is increased, when, ventilation. Ventilation means transport of air, oxygen from lung to blood, and transport of carbon dioxide from blood to lung is inhibited. The rate is decreased. As a result, the carbon dioxide concentration in the lung is increased. That's why receptor cell, type 3 receptor cell is activated, and it sends the impulses, sends the information message to the another brain center, which is called Pons center, mnemotaxic center. And that Pons transmit messages to the medullary center, and it sends impulses and calls the medulla to stop inspiration. Not only the pontine center, in that case, vagus nerve, important fact is responsible because and cerebrospinal fluid concentration, it invades through the blood-brain barrier and enters the interstitial cells. The fluid which is located within the neuron cells of the brains, of the medulla. And carbon dioxide is solubilized, forms carbonic acid, ionizes hydrogen ion, bicarbonate ion. That hydrogen ion activates the medullary centers, and that hydrogen ion, and my preceding message mentioned that the vagal afferents, both vagal afferents and hydrogen ion, says the medullary centers to stop inspiration and initiate expiration. And in that case, in COVID-19 cases, SARS-CoV-2 affects the lung alveolus. You must know our respiratory trees contains, nasal tube, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, terminal bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles, alveolar duct, and alveolus. In alveolus, COVID virus affects type 2 pneumocytes, which produces surfactant. And that surfactant maintains, I mean, during inhalation, alveolus inflates. During exhalation, alveolar deflates. I mean, contraction, relaxation, just like muscle. I mean, inhalation, inflation and deflation of the lung is dependent on lung surfactant. Surfactant is produced by the type 2 pneumocytes. Actually, SARS coronavirus affects type 2 cells and invades into the type 2 pneumocytes, and it hijacks the machinery of the type 2 pneumocytes, and it reproduces and used for the reproduction of the SARS coronavirus. As a result, type 2 pneumocytes are damaged, and there are no surfactant during lung ventilations. I mean, during diffusion of the gases, there are several dead spaces are produced in the lung. Physiological dead spaces. You all know that as a student of the physiology, lung contains several dead spaces as a result of the infection of the COVID-19 virus. That's why there is no, rate of the ventilations is decreased. Therefore, the lung, arteriolar or lung carbon dioxide concentration is increased, and as a result, medulla is excited, and the medullary centers is on total stress conditions. That's why it regulates the shallow breathing and rapid breathing instead of deep breathing, normal tidal volume, normal ventilations. Therefore, COVID patient primarily exhibits rapid shallow breathing due to some physiological reasons. And in extreme cases, you know that the symptoms arises within 2 to 14 days of incubations, infections. That means the incubation period of the COVID-19 virus is about 2 weeks. From the day of the infection, it could exhibit the symptoms within 2 weeks. That's why in extreme cases, if the person is immunocompromised, if the person was suffering from diabetes, suffering from cancers, suffering from kidney, in that cases, the individuals could not ventilate adequately as a result of the damage of the type 2 pneumocytes and totally absent of the surfactant. In that cases, the patient may be placed in ventilations. In that cases, most of the patients do not survive as a result of the failure of the lungs. And you must know that there are some specific symptoms we could observe, say, loss of taste, loss of smell. What are the reasons? Because the nasal mucosal cells has several, epithelial cells. And you must know that our taste buds, which are found in the tongue, which are responsible for the perception of the taste, contain taste receptor cells, which are ciliated epithelial cells. That cilia contains the gateway, receptor, I will discuss. That receptor, by means of that ACE2 angiotensin converting enzyme receptors that are located in the cilia of that epithelial cells and invades into the cells and damages the cells. That's why primarily the COVID-19 patients could not perceive taste, could not perceive smell adequately, along with rapid and shallow ventilations and respiratory distress syndrome, which is very critical due to absence of surfactant in the lungs. And in that point, I could say that there are some indirect symptoms. You could see that that not might be direct infections of the COVID-19. During the, in order to halt the transmissions, in order to slow down the transmissions, we are in a total, human beings, entire human society, human beings are under the lock and key in a particular premises, which is called lockdown. Contained or confined in a particular area. And most of the human beings are suffering from, stresses, Most of the human beings are suffering from neurosis. You must know that neurosis including emotions. You are worrying for some reasons, and in some cases, certain cases, we are worrying due to some reasons. Worrying, stresses, emotions, and unexpected emotions, depressions, fatigueness are due to the suppressions, inhibitions of the brain neurons. Do you know what are the reasons? Do you know what are the feel-good neurotransmitters? You know that dopamine is called the feel-good neurotransmitters. And in that cases, physiologists, we could make, you must show that if we suffer from stresses, suffers from the emotional depressions, suffers from the emotions, most of the majority of the people are suffering from the emotional stresses might be due to depressions of the secretions of dopamine from some dopaminergic neurons in the human brains. Not only dopamine, some other neurotransmitter might be involved, serotonin, norepinephrine might be involved. And in some cases, human beings are suffering from some sleepless nights. What are the reasons? Some neurotransmitter, you know that adenosines, which is responsible for the sleeping. Waking up, you know that acetylcholine and serotonin are responsible for the waking up. That's why you must measure. And I could apprehend that during the lockdown period, most of the human beings suffers from the sleepless night, might be due to the lack of the adenosine, secretion of the neurotransmitter from the brains. And these are the brief overall, summary of the symptoms. And later on, I could, due to lack of time, just take a few minutes. In that point, I could convey you that virulence. What are the reasons for the virulence? Virulence is due to several reasons, due to subjective, due to social reasons. It is highly infectious. In the introductions, I had mentioned that due to unhygienic practices, unhygienic lifestyles, unhygienic public health practices, during food habits, we could purchase some places, we could purchase some drinks, we could purchase some drinks, by which of the items coronavirus could transmit from the human beings. We could use common washrooms, common latrines. If the handle of the door is contaminated with the coronavirus. Say, for example, if the tabletop is contaminated with the coronavirus, and I would be contaminated with the coronavirus. Therefore, we must be cautious about the surfaces, about the mode of transmissions, about the coronavirus. The main media for the transmission of the coronavirus is why it is called infectious. It is airborne. During sneezing, during coughing, during speaking, by means of the droplets of the swabs, droplets of the nasal mucosas, droplet nucleus of the droplet nucleus, it is ejected into the air, and by means of the wind, by means of the air current, it is transmitted from the affected person to the healthy persons. It is infectious as a result of the airborne transmissions. In the preceding portions, I have conveyed that it is contagious because any media, any contact surfaces may be contaminated with the coronavirus. And due to contact, we could be contaminated with the coronavirus. And I would mention here that you must be aware about the handling of the unprotected handling of the pet animals. It may happen that some animals they are carrying coronaviruses. You must take protections. You must take protections to handle some animals. I could say here that coronavirus is a zoonotic disease. What is called zoonotic disease? Any disease which is transmitted by means of the animals is called zoonotic disease. And I recapitulate, I repeat, COVID-19 has been transmitted by the pangolin, it is definitely a zoonotic disease like other corona disease. And another reasons for the transmission is the unhygienic, inadequately boiled to take for taking meat, inadequately boiled meat and eggs or other food items could transmit coronaviruses to the healthy human beings. And there are other reasons for pathogenicity, some sexes. It has been found that males are more prone, more susceptible to females. In COVID-19, the fatality has been estimated. 60% fatalities are male patients, male attacked patients. 40% are females. What are the reasons? Might be due to genes. Because we have mentioned that the gateway for attacking host cells is the ACE2 receptor cells. The gene responsible for the expression of the ACE2 receptor. The gene which is responsible for the ACE2 receptors are very active, hyperactive in male patients. And lesser active, might be lesser active in female patients. There are also other reasons, some hormones. You know that progesterone, estradiol might be responsible. Testosterone in male might be responsible. Number 5, genetic scenarios. You know that gene is absolutely responsible for the pathogenicity. We could hear that in India, the fatality rate is about 3%, 3 to 4%. In America, it is about 9 to 10%. In Europe, it is 9 to 11%. In China, it is 5 to 6%. But you must know that in Italy, the fatality rate was 10 to 11%, in particularly in North Italy. And accidentally, a family has migrated from North Italy to America. It has been found that the North Italian family, which has attacked by the coronavirus disease, the fatality rate was in that family 10 to 14%. But in case of America, the fatality rate was 9 to 10%. That proves that the fatality, the pathogenicity, the virulence of the virus depends also on the genes. There are other factors, climatic conditions, socioeconomic status, nutritional status, immunological status are also responsible for the virulence. What are the current options for the treatment? You must know right now we have no options for the treatment. What is the treatment? Some antiviral drugs have been used. You must know that favipiravir is an anti-influenza virus. It is used, it is tested for efficacy against COVID-19 virus. This is the favipiravir. You know that AIDS are treated with lopinavir, ritonavir. Okay, but lopinavir, ritonavir, ribavirin, another antiviral drug as a combination are used to treat corona patients and to combat the coronavirus disease. Another, you know that hydroxychloroquine, which is a drug for the malaria and arthritis, and it is also tested against the COVID-19 to cure the COVID-19 patient. You know that the mode of action of hydroxychloroquine. Actually, hydroxychloroquine inhibits the antigen presenting cells. That's why it causes the inhibition of antigen presenting cells. That's why the T cells, the main cells which is responsible for the immunity, which becomes active, and it inhibits the erythrocytic physiogony during the malarial phase in case of human beings within the human bodies. That's why hydroxychloroquine is used to treat the COVID-19 patients. And some other ivermectin, anti-parasitic drugs, and some antibiotics have been tested against the COVID-19 to cure the COVID-19 patients. You must know that in our India, in our countries, Ayush Ministry has introduced some of the agents for immunomodulations to boost up the immunity so that the attack of the SARS coronavirus is prevented initially. What are those? You must know that some plant products, some herbal products, Withania somnifera. You know that Ashwagandha in Bengal it is called Ashwagandha, Withania somnifera. You know that in Bengal it is called Justimodhu, Glycyrrhiza glabra, Piper longus, people, Giloy. You must know that Tinospora, that's herbal product. And another herbal combinations, I-64, have been permitted for testing to use against the COVID-19 infections to enhance, to augment the immunity. There are some homeopathic drugs also, you know that arsenic album, phosphorus, tuberculin also may be used as a immunomodulators. There are some, therapeutic drugs, which are not drugs for the COVID drugs. They are used to treat COVID-19 patients. And what are the options? There are options to discover, to innovate new drugs that blocks the spike proteins to enter, inhibits the spike protein so that virus could not enter the host cells, that blocks the expression of the genetic material of the virus that could be used as a therapeutic drug. And vaccines, you must know that regarding the innovations of the vaccines, most of the countries are trying to innovate the vaccines. And I could say that it is good for the innovation or discovery of the vaccines, but I could suspicious about the efficacy of the vaccines because we are not in a position till today to discover the vaccines against.
I think then another connection issue. Yes, Maitri?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
মনে
another
হচ্ছে তো
connection
তাই
issue.
So what?
এটা
একবার
কল্যাণী
স্যারকে
তাই
কন্ট্যাক্ট করো।
কল্যাণীর কানেকশনের প্রবলেম, কল্যাণীর মিনিটের কানেকশনের প্রবলেম হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, we are running short of time. কৌশিক একবার স্যারের সাথে কন্ট্যাক্ট করো।
আমি কন্ট্যাক্ট করছি এখনই।
আর ওইদিকে প্রফেসর গঙ্গোপাধ্যায়কে একটু
হ্যাঁ
বলে রাখা আর কি।
হ্যাঁ এসডি স্যারকে বলছি বলে হ্যাঁ আমি স্যারকে কন্ট্যাক্ট করো। হ্যাঁ, we are running short of time. কৌশিক একবার
রীতিমতো ভালো ডিসকাশন হচ্ছিল।
মৈত্রীদি এসডি স্যার সম্পর্কে একটু কিছু বলো আর কি ব্যাপারটা বলতে শুরু করো।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আমি শুরু করে দেব কি নেক্সট সেশন স্যার ওয়াইসি স্যার?
না স্যার, স্যারকে একটু প্রফেসর পলকে একটু ক্লিয়ার
There are two things. When discovered and when drugs, and I could summarize that COVID-19 is a historic pandemic disease. It's a must be cautious so that coronavirus is not transmitted from human to human, from animal to human, and from common frameworks, common platforms, buses, be able to stop the infections of the coronavirus by discovering therapeutic drugs, by discovering vaccines, and by implementing lockdowns and other social measures, public health measures. I wish this message help a bit to educate the common people so that coronavirus disease might be controlled. And at the end, I thank all the professors, especially principals, to allow me to say something. And I express my sincere apology for technical interruptions. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Maitridi now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your amazing presentation. SARS coronavirus 2, which may progress to respiratory distress and even sepsis and organ failure, has taken the world by storm. From your lecture, we get an insight about the transmission and management of infection and epidemics. The lecture covered the difference between pandemic, epidemic, and route of transmission of SARS, MERS, SARS coronavirus 2, concept of structure, mutation, and source of SARS coronavirus 2. It also encompassed the specific physiological symptoms, pathophysiology, and mechanism of respiratory distress by SARS-CoV-2 involving type 2 pneumocytes and medulla. Doubts about vaccine efficacy also. Sir, in spite of your busy administrative schedule, you enlightened us with such an informative and scientific speech with a lasting impression. Please accept our sincere thanks, sir. Kaushik, please transfer the microphone to Sir, GP sir.
Yes. Hello, sir. Sir.
GP sir has left. I think he got disconnected.
Yes. Okay.
So, YC sir, should we go for the next session? Sir? Sir? Am I audible?
Yes.
Kaushik?
I'm audible. Sir,
Okay.
YC sir is muted.
Oh.
Krishnendu.
So, should we go for the next session?
We can pass on to our next speaker, Professor Gangopadhyay.
Yes.
Okay.
And question answer at the last, if time permits, and Professor Paul is available because he is such a busy person.
Okay.
So now we are going to the second session of this webinar. After managing COVID, we have to cope with the new normal life. We have to continue our work from home. So we should maintain our health while staying at home and do all work. Professor Somnath Ganguly sir will give us some light and show us the way to stay fit following the ergonomics, the most interesting discipline of physiology. It is a great honor for me to get chance to introduce Professor Somnath Gangopadhyay sir to all participants. Dr. Somnath Gangopadhyay sir began his career as an ergonomist and work physiologist in a renowned steel plant under the Steel Authority of India Limited at Bhilai, India. After working for more than 5 years, he joined the University of Calcutta in 1997 as a lecturer in ergonomics in the Department of Physiology. Presently, he is working as professor in the same department of the university. Till date, he has published more than 200 research publications of his work in national and international peer-reviewed with high impact factor journals and books. He has supervised 12 PhD students till date. He has also been conferred fellow and awarded chartered status title by Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors, United Kingdom in 2020. He also being awarded the Ramendra Sundar Sinha Memorial Oration by the Physiological Society of India and the Professor S. Subramaniam Memorial Oration by the Indian Association of Biomedical Scientists. He was Treasurer and Assistant Secretary of Indian Society of Ergonomics twice, and now he is one of the Executive Committee members of IAC. Presently, he is holding the post of Honorary General Secretary of the Physiological Society of India and the Secretary of Scientific Committee on SME and Informal Sectors of International Commission on Occupational Health. He has been elected as a member of Ergonomics Section, Bureau of Indian Standards, Government of India, and also the expert member of the Committee of Rural Biotechnology of Department of Biotechnology, Government of West Bengal. He is an advisor of 25 national and international industries in different sectors and domains and visiting regularly different countries like USA, UK, Europe, South Asian countries, South Africa for different academic purposes. He has regularly been invited by different national institutions like Indian Institute of Technology, National Institute of Design, MIT, University of Design, to deliver lectures as distinguished resource person and visiting faculty. In 2016, he was invited to deliver lecture as guest speaker in the School of Design at the University of Loughborough, United Kingdom. In 2017, he was invited to deliver lecture at the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factor, the most prestigious of London and UK Royal Navy, United Kingdom. Currently, he is acting as a consultant editor of the International Journal of Occupational Safety and Health, associate editor of BMC Musculoskeletal Disorder, and also served different national and international journals as a member of the editorial board. Now I request respected Dr. Somnath Gangopadhyay sir to start his lecture. It is such an honor for us to have you today between us. Sir, please.
Yes, thank you. Probably I'm audible. Okay.
Yes.
So thanks, Maitri and principal of Krishnagar Government College for inviting me. It's my honor. And I also wish to thank other faculties of the Krishnagar Government College and also my, because some of the faculties were my students. I taught them in their MSc classes. So I feel I'm feeling very happy that as if I'm standing before my student, my not my students, my sons and daughters. And this is my honor, sir. I'm sir, that is principal of Krishnagar Government College, to inviting me to stand before my students to say few words on ergonomics, because ergonomics is a very old subject, but in India we are applying ergonomics that is since 2 or 3 decades. So it is a very new subject in India. Now I wish to share my screen. So please enter screen. One minute, please. Full screen mode. Yes. So I should give thanks to Professor Pal because Professor Pal has given so many information about the COVID-19 and the precautionary measures of the COVID-19. And I should start from the, from the result of the COVID-19. What's the result of the COVID-19? We should stay home. That's the most important result of the COVID-19. But we should not sleep at home. We should do some work. That means we should work from home. So when we should do work from home, there are so many questions arise, because work from home means if we are working at our institute, at our college, at our office, there is a quite different environment. And when we are working from home, there's a quite different environment. And again, the tools, the things, what we get used to get in our colleges, in our offices, we never get these things, at home. But one thing we get, that is the comfort. That's the comfort means the mental comfort. But I'm talking not about the mental comfort. Of course, mental comfort is a very important thing, but I'm trying to talk about the physical comfort. But in which way we can get the physical comfort, I will tell about these things. That means we have to work inside the home. We have to stay inside the home. Then we have to work with our computer, with our laptop, with our mobile phone, that is the cell phone. Then it will be very difficult for us to get comfort, because the workstation is not quite, is not properly designed. We should design our workstation. That's a very important thing. 2 or 3 days back, I found this one email from, online shops. This email that is working from home, find essential furniture for all your needs. And then there's a button. And when I click that button, I found so many furnitures, and you can use these furnitures. That means that is the chairs and the tables at your home to get yourself comfort and to increase your productivity. But in which way we can explore, in which way we can identify that furnitures which are shown in these, in this site. That is when we just click the explore now, then what furnitures we get, that furnitures are properly designed or not. The design is a very important thing, because if there's some fault in the design of the furnitures, then never will get comfort by using these furnitures, because we have to do work from our home. Because now you are participating in this webinar. That means you are talking with your computer, you are working with your computer, and if you will not get more comfort, then it will be very difficult for you to talk with your computer, to work with your computer. So ergonomics has some contribution in the designing of your workstation. So in which way we can apply ergonomics, design the workstation, so that even in this COVID-19 situation, we can get maximum comfort by working in our home. So the ergonomics. So what is ergonomics? It is long way back when I first entered into my class of ergonomics. My teacher, Professor Rabindranath Sen, used to say that, Shomnath, that there are the 2 words in ergonomics, 2 Greek words. One is the word, that means ergon, which is the word, and nomos, that means the laws. That laws is nothing but the natural law. That means if you follow the natural law during your work, then you get maximum comfort. That means if you not follow the natural law, then you will not get the maximum comfort during your work. So, but in which way we can follow the natural comfort? Like in this picture, can you follow my my hand? I'm rotating my hand. Please unmute anybody and just say yes. Can you follow my hand?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
nice.
sir.
Thank you. So now this in this picture, you see that the person is bending forward. It is not the natural posture. So natural posture means you don't have to bend your back. You have to straight your back. But that depends on the furnitures or the workstations you are using. If the workstation is not proper, then you have to bend your back to see or to look or to work with your computer. And if the workstation is right, then you don't have to bend your back, and you can see, you can look, you can work with your computer. So it is a very easy thing. And now this person is obeying, just maintaining the natural law during his work. But this person is not maintaining the natural law during his work. So he may, M-A-Y, may not, may or may not develop some kind of disorders which are known as the musculoskeletal disorder. But most of the cases we found that the persons develop musculoskeletal disorders when the persons will not be able to maintain the natural posture during the work. So there are so many pain points. Musculoskeletal disorders means in simple way pain. The person will get so many pain points in his body. So these pain points can be removed if we design the furniture, if we design the workstation, then ultimately the comfort of the person will be increased. And when we increase the comfort of the persons, then of course, the productivity of the persons will be increased. That means more and more time the person can do work in that particular workstation. So this is ergonomics. And when we apply ergonomics in cases known as the the computer ergonomics or computer workstation design of the ergonomics part, so then we should consider the three most important things of the human being, like the strength. This is the capabilities, is the strength, and then the limitations. The height is the limitations, and the needs means requirements of the human being. In this COVID-19 situation, the capabilities means you have to design your workstation by your own. That means you have to design your workstations, and that workstation is not fixed workstations maybe. That workstation is movable workstation. So if that workstation is like your table, like your chair, or something like that, like a desk, if it is very heavy, then it will be very difficult for you to move it from one place to another place. So that is not the ergonomics. So you should consider your capabilities, your strength, and then you go for the designing of the workstation. Then the limitations, your height is the limitations. So if we don't give the emphasis on the body dimensions of the human being, then ultimately everything that the design failure will be there, everything will not be done properly. That means the limitation is a very important thing in case of the ergonomics, in case of the designing of the workstation. So even in this COVID-19 situations, when you are going to design or redesign your workstations at your home, then you should consider your limitations, like your dimension, body dimension, your height, your dimensions of the different body parts, and the needs. Needs means requirements. In the computer workstations, what will be our requirements? We should give emphasis on these things. That means what should be the design of and in which way we should place the keyboards, in which way we should place the monitor, in which way we should place the mouse. So these are all the needs of the requirements of the human being, and we should give more importance to these requirements of the human being when we design our workstation at home. So I will give you some statistics. Maybe I should update the statistics because it is written over here that is 56% of the office employees will work from home in the future. But if you add the office employees with the teachers and the students, then this percentage will go rise. That means it is sometimes who have some access to the internet, then the 80% of that people who have access to the internet will work from home in future. So it is a very important thing that we have to redesign our workstations because we have to work from home. And there's another statistics that 63% of the employees feel that they are more productive when they're working remotely. That means when they work from home, then they feel that we are more productive than in the office. That means that's some mental comforts they can get in the home. Like in this photograph, you can find the person is working with his computer from home, and he is also, he is also maintaining the demands of his child. That means mentally he is totally satisfied when he works from home. But the most important thing is the 30 to 40 days to get productivity to the same level as working from office. That means the persons need 30 to 45 days to accommodate, at his or her home to give the same level of productivity. That means that accommodation period is a very important thing when you work from home, because we don't have proper sit and stand workstation at home. So my great emphasis will be on to make this proper stand or sit and stand workstation, so that we can increase the productivity of the human being when the person's bound to work from home in this COVID-19 situation. The problem is health. Yes, of course, the health. And this WMSD, the full form of WMSD is work-related musculoskeletal disorders. There are carpal tunnel syndrome, tendonitis, muscle strains. These are all related with your workstations, with your postures, with your repetitive movement. That is, if the movement is repetitive, if the postures is awkward, then there's a quite good possibility there to develop musculoskeletal disorder. What is musculoskeletal disorder? That means the disorders in your muscle and the skeletal system. And all the movements is related with this muscle and the skeletal system. So when there will be some disorders in the muscle and the skeletal system, then of course there will be disorders in the movement. So what is the contribution of ergonomics to prevent this musculoskeletal disorder? Like the proper posture. That's the most important thing. The proper posture. The keyboard height, of course. The monitor height. So we should maintain the keyboard height. Perfect keyboard height. We should maintain the proper posture. We should maintain the monitor height, and we should adjust the chair properly. Or we should take, and of course, not all, and we should take rest, that we should take break. And this break is the very important thing in case of to prevent the musculoskeletal disorder. But I should say a few words on the work-related musculoskeletal disorder. This is a picture of Bernardino Ramagini, 17th century physician, who first gave us idea some musculoskeletal disorder. And this is his book, that is the Diseases of Workers. And in these diseases of workers, he gave descriptions of 1,000 musculoskeletal disorders and which are related with the work. That means he described thousands work-related musculoskeletal disorders in this book. And he also described that this work-related musculoskeletal disorder is quite related with the posture of the human being, or the worker, or the persons who are using a particular workstations, and the movements of the body. That means posture is a very important thing, and the movements is very important thing. So we should concentrate our ideas for designing of some furnitures of something at our home during these situations, or we should use these defined furnitures at our home that will correct our postures, and then the minimum movements of the body will be there, so that we'll not develop this type of musculoskeletal disorder. Means that is the pain at the different parts of the body. This is nothing. The musculoskeletal disorder is the soft body tissue injuries, like the muscles, nerves, tendons, joints, cartilage, spinal disc. There are so many parts that that the musculoskeletal disorders may be developed in case of the human being. And there are so many names of the musculoskeletal disorders, like tendonitis, like tenosynovitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, epicondylitis, Raynaud phenomenon, rotary cough, de Quervain's disease, ganglionic cyst. But the most common things, if I say back pain, it is also musculoskeletal disorder. If we say I have some shoulder pain, maybe you have already developed musculoskeletal disorder. If I say I have some wrist pain, maybe you have already developed the musculoskeletal disorders at your wrist. So these are all the body parts in different parts you may develop the musculoskeletal disorders due to your wrong body postures. And now the stresses, the factors, as I already mentioned, that is the poor and awkward postures, static postures. If it is static postures, if you have to sit in your chair for a longer period in a constant posture, constrained postures, in a perfect postures, in a single posture, then you may develop the musculoskeletal disorder. Right? Repetitive tasks, you have to do repetitive tasks, then you may develop the musculoskeletal disorders. If the table surface is very sharp, that the table edge, EDG, edge is very sharp, then you may got some pain, you may get some pain by touching that surface. That is which is known as the contact stress. And if the mouse and the keyboards are not placed proper way, then you have to overstress your arm, that means your elbow, and then you develop the musculoskeletal disorder. And another important thing is glare, that the illumination at your workplace or at your home. So you should give you should very concerned about the level of the illuminations at your home, at your workplace, where you are working, at your home, in the room. And because the glare, if the window is in front of you and in the morning, the whole light will come, strike on your eyes, then you will feel discomfort, which is known as the direct glare. And if the surface is very glossy, then if the light is just above your head, then again you will not get the proper illumination at your work site, and also the light will strike on the the glossy, the highly polished surface of the desk, and that will be reflected to your eye. Again, you will feel discomfort. So you have to think about your desk at home where you are working, and the wrong desk, of course, the monitor placement, keyboard placement, and of course the proper chair adjustment. That's the very important thing, the adjustment of the chair. Proper chair you should adjust in these conditions. So the ergonomic controls is we should design or redesign the workstations, or we should redesign the thing at our home in such a way that we can, we can correct our postures. We should think about the desk, height of the desk. We should think about the keyboard height and the angle of the keyboard. That's the most important thing. We should think about the monitor placement or monitor height and the angle and the adjustment of the chair. So repeatedly, I'm telling about the chair adjustment. So that means we should consider so many factors. I should not read out so many factors. Some of the factors I should read out. That is the 5-point base, and the chair should be adjustable. 5-point base means that the 5 casters should be there. Then the proper support of the chair we will get. If there's some 4-point base, that is not 4 casters, or 3-point base means 3 casters of the chair, then you will not get proper support of the chair. Like the chair, the back support, you should get proper back support. And where you should get the proper back support, that is a very important thing, and I should discuss about the proper back support, in which way you can give this back support, in which way you can give this support at your back. I will discuss about it. So there are so many factors, and when we see this, chair, then you will find this is for the back support, this is for the seat pan and the cushion. That cushion should not be very soft, cushion should not be very hard, then you will not get any comfort. So cushion should be medium type of cushion. That means it should not be very hard, very soft. And that these are all the casters, that is the 5 casters should be there to get a proper support. But most of the people, at our home, we feel happy to sit on the floor and to do work, because in the chair, it is known as the constrained posture. It is very difficult for a person to change the posture in the chair. But on the floor, it is very easy for the person to change the posture. They can, in a cross-leg posture, they may be in the stretching leg posture. So continuous changing of the posture is good for health. But if the person bound to sit in a constrained posture, that will create the problem. So I should support this type of posture, that's sitting on the floor, but in which way we can make this workstation so the person, by sitting on the floor, get maximum comfort at home during his or her work. These are all the chairs, and these chairs are, adjustable chairs, and the cost of the chairs like 50,000 to 1 lakh. It is very difficult to, to purchase this type of chairs, because unnecessary. Why we should buy these chairs? This is a 50,000 chairs at our home, and this is also a chair. And when the person will sit on the chair, then of course the back will become straight. So the main, the main thing of the chair is to make your back straight. So in this chair, if the person will sit, then the back will be automatically straight. But unfortunately, you can't use this chair for a longer period, and then you have to, you have to change your posture. So it is good for at home, but again, it is very difficult to find here in India. And this is the positions of the back support, which is known as the lumbosacral region. This is the region where the person will get the back support. Person should get the back support. So if the person will not get the back support in this region, that is at the back, at the lower back, at the lumbosacral region, then the person will not get comfort. So when the person is sitting on the floor, so the person should get back support at the lumbosacral region. So he may use some cushion over there, which should not be, very soft, which should not be very hard, and the medium type of cushion, and the person will get comfort by using these cushions, these medium type of cushions at the back. So we can do it for this person. You can do it by yourself if you want to work, sitting on the floor. But again, you have to rest your back. There's in this case, there's a bed, and the side of the bed, the person gets support from the side of the bed. So you have to find out maybe the wall or the side of the bed where you can place the medium type of cushion, and just place it at your back at the lower lumbosacral region and just do work. And here the person is using phone. If the person will using the headphone, then it will be very easy for the person not to bend, not to twist his neck. So in that way, very easily you can rectify your conditions. And the third thing is, if the person will use some jol chowki from the Bengali language, I should use the jol chowki. There's a desk, a lower heighted desk. Then it will be very easy for the person to use the desk, and then this type of things will not be happening, and the person will become very happy. So in that way, if you change very little amount of working part at your home, then you will get maximum comfort during work, at home during this situation, during COVID-19 situation. So first we should go to identify the computer monitor, that is the positions of the computer monitor. So the monitor should be placed in such a way that will eliminate glare on the screen. If the glare on the screen will be there, that will create disturbances. That means if the window is in front, then the light will fall just directly to the eye of this person. If the window will be at the back, then the person will just restrict the light, the sunlight, all the sunlight from the natural light, and then the person will not get any, proper illumination at the workplace, at the work site. But if the light will come from the side, this side, right side or the left side, then the person will get ample amount of illumination at his workplace. So at right angles or away from the windows and touch lights, place the monitor at a right angle. That's a very important thing. So if you place the monitor as the right angle, so your window, you should consider your window. Your window should be at your right side, either at your right side or your left side, and then you will get the ample light in your workstation. So you can usually make it at your home. And the most important thing is the monitor should be placed directly in front of you. If it is not in front of you, then you have to twist your neck. Now I show you some photographs. Yes, the first photographs, twisting the neck, because the monitor is placed in the sideways. The monitor is placed in the sideways, so the person have to twisting the neck. Here is also the person have to twisting the neck because the monitor is placed in the sideways. And here also, but when the monitor is in the straight positions, then the person don't have to twist his neck, and the person can see directly to the monitor, and the person will feel comfort by watching the monitor, by working in his workstation. It's a very simple way you can change your workstation, because we have to work for, I do not know how many days we have to work from our home. So we have to change these things. And there are other things also, very important things. That is, there should be 30 degrees angle of below the eye level. The monitor should be placed, the screen, of course, the screen should be at a slightly 30 degrees below the eye level. Then you will get maximum comfort. Because whenever we sit, making our back very straight, we sit in a very comfort positions, then automatically our eye level will go down when we try to maintain a very comfortable positions during our work. Then the upper level, the top level of the screen should be slightly below the eye level. Otherwise, you will feel pain at your neck. That is known as the tension neck syndrome. If it is very high, then you have to raise your neck. If it is very low, then again you have to, down your neck more and more, and then you will get maximum discomfort. So that should be slightly below your eye level. And that monitor should be at least an arm length away from you. And if it is not at least the arm length away from you, then again you will feel some discomfort, because maybe there's some discomfort in your eyes. That is the stickiness in the eye, dryness in the eye. These are all when you place the monitor very near to your eye. And you have to read. You have to go through the screen rightly. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to see this. It will be very difficult for you to look at this at this monitors. So again, you have to positions your neck, positions your trunk, and that will create some problems in your body. So the positions of the computer is very important thing. Now, it is not the normal situations at a home, but when you have to look at the two monitors side by side, that the monitor should not be placed like this, because then we have to move our neck, or we have to look like this or look like that. So this is not the normal way of doing work. So if you place these monitors like this in a semicircle way, in a U-shaped way, then the two monitors are under your visual field. So you don't have to move your neck. You can see directly the two monitors at the same time. If you look straight, then also you can see, because our visual field, the two monitors are under the visual field. So again, now we should think about the keyboard. The keyboard placement of the keyboard is very important thing. First, we should consider the placement of the keyboard. The keyboard should be directly in front of you. Your shoulders should be relaxed and your elbows close to your body. If it is not close to your body, if your shoulder will not be relaxed, then you feel severe pain at your shoulder, at your back. So that should be placed, the keyboard should be placed in front of you, and then your whole body will become relaxed. And the most important thing about the wrist should be straight and in line with your forearms. Now, in these photographs, you see the wrist there's some bended of the wrist, and this is the reason behind the development of carpal tunnel syndrome. But when the wrist will become straight, then the person will not develop. That will prevent to develop the carpal tunnel syndrome. So the keyboard should be placed in such a way, if the keyboard will be inclined, then the wrist will become straight. I will show you that thing. So when the keyboard will become inclined, then the wrist will become straight. And there are other things also there. It's very much related to the keyboard. There's 1 to 2 inches above the seated elbow height that keyboard should be placed. Same height, other input devices. That means in the same height, you should place the keyboard and the mouse. You should not place the mouse on the table and keyboard on the keyboard table. Then you will not get comfort, because your shoulder will be raised when you try to touch the mouse. So these are the conditions. So mouse and keyboard should, of course, the mouse and the keyboard should be at the same level. And if you use the keyboard tray, then that should be adjustable, like this keyboard. And there enough space should be there where you can accommodate the keyboard and the mouse. So you should not place this mouse on the table. Then it will be very difficult for you to do work. Then your shoulder will be raised. Then you will feel pain at your shoulder. So there are so many types of keyboards that are already developed, but it is very difficult to get here in our country. So these are all the keys inside the groups. And now when the person is using the keyboard, that is when the person is keying, then the wrist will become straight. So now it is very easy for the person to use this keyboard. There will be no probability for the development of the carpal tunnel syndrome. Now there is alternative keyboards design. Again, it's the normal movement of the hand, normal movement of the arm is related with this keyboard design. And in that way, if you use this type of keyboard, then you will get maximum comfort. But unfortunately, sometimes very early, or it is very expensive, it is very difficult to find here in India. There is pistol grip mouse. In this case, the wrist will become straight, and it will be very easy for the person to use this mouse without any discomfort feeling. Now, as I already mentioned, that these are all, you can say, these are all very much related with the desktops. But we're using the laptop mostly. And there's a problem in the design problem in the laptop, that design of a laptop, there's some difficulty in design of the laptop is that with the screen, the keyboard is attached. So you can't remove the keyboard, and you can't use the keyboard as per your comfort. What comfort you are feeling using the keyboard, you will not get it, because keyboard is fixed in this, with the screen. Then there's some problem of the adjustment. You have to adjust your neck, you have to adjust your wrist. And if you can't adjust your neck, if you can't adjust your wrist, there will be severe pain at your neck, severe pain at your wrist. That means there's some musculoskeletal disorders will be developed. Like when there's severe pain at the neck, which is known as the tension neck syndrome, when there's severe pain at the wrist, which is known as the carpal tunnel syndrome. So you may develop these things. So I can give you some tips. We're a frequent user of this, of this laptop, that they should use the external devices. That means the person he is using the external keyboard. He is not using the keyboard inside the, that is, which is attached with the laptop. He's using the external keyboard. Then he is getting more comfort, because he can remove it, he can place it anywhere. He can place it on his lap, he can place it in any part, but it's not fixed. So this fixed thing is a problematic thing. So when it is not fixed, then the person is very much happy to use these things. And also the chair, if it is a frequent user, so I should give suggestions to the frequent user to bring the chair from his or her office to the home, so that he or she will get maximum comfort by using the, by working from the home. Now, the tips for the occasional user. We are the occasional user, we should say. And the chair, of course, the chair support, chair should be comfortable. And if there's no chair, if we have to work from the, sitting on the floor, then you have to find your back support, like your wall. And that person using the, the side of the bed, And then you have to use some cushion, not so hard, not so soft, at the back of your, at the back, at your own back, that the back support should be at your own back. The not so hard, not so soft, not so hard back support. And if you want to use the chair at your home, then there are so many chairs, your home. At your home, I know. There's so many types of chairs. Then you have to select the chairs where you can get maximum comfort. That means some upright, comfortable upright, or slightly reclined positions you will get in the chair. And that chair you should use at your home when you are using the laptop in this COVID-19 situation. Now about the laptop screen. Laptop screen, the angle of the laptop screen back, so you can see there's some angle formed in this. It is not straight. There's some angle made in this screen, and here the person get maximum comfort by looking at the screen. If it is straight, again you have to adjust your neck. So in that case, you have to adjust the angle of the monitor or the screen, because the laptop, it is not the monitor, it's the screen. You have to adjust the screen. And then by adjusting the screen, you will get maximum comfort at your neck during working, with this laptop. And the positions of your laptop. Now, that point, what I already mentioned, that the laptop, there's some keyboard should be in inclined positions. And there's some adjustment, already you can find it from the market, but now it is very difficult to get because everything is closed. In the lockdown situation, it's very difficult to get, or if you get, that will charge more. It will be difficult to purchase, it will be difficult to buy. Now you can use your thick book, your fat book, and you just place your fat book over here and place it inclined, and then your wrist will become straight. It's a very easy thing. No money is required. Yes, of course you should have that fat books, because you are all students and the teachers. So we have fat books at home. So use these fat books when you place the laptop, and place the laptop on the fat books and make it inclined, so your wrist will become straight. Now, the most important thing, should not sit long during your work. You should stand up. You should stretch your body. You should move. That exercises are very, very, very important thing, when we have to work from our home, because at home it is very difficult to, get time to do some exercise, or we are very ignoring about exercising our body. So that yoga or some exercise, some stretching exercise you should do. And that should be done in regular intervals of your work. So I should give suggestions of this sitting standing workstation. Now throughout the world, all the ergonomists are preferring this sitting standing workstation, because constant posture is bad for health. So in that case, if the workstation is designed in such a way that the person can use this workstation, by sitting also can use this workstations. And there's some footrest. The most important thing, I should prefer the inclined footrest, but at home it is very difficult to get the inclined footrest. So you can use some, some cardboard or something like that, some fixed cardboard, so that you can place your leg. Now in this way, the person can get rest of one leg, no stress will be there. And sometimes he will place these things over here and again, or here, and then he will change this leg from here to that portion, and this leg from this portion to that portion. Then again, he will get comfort to this leg. So in that way, he can do. That is the sitting, standing workstation. But again, it's very costly. You have to make. But in which way you can use these workstations at your home? Yes, I can suggest you. This is your kitchen counter, kitchen counter. That is somehow that's 33 inches. So you can use this kitchen counter for as a workstation, temporary workstation at home. So you can make it at a sit or stand workstations. So it will give you maximum comfort and your productivity will be increased. Simple, very simple applications of ergonomics you can do at your home, so that your discomfort feeling will be gone. G-O-N-E, that means gone. And there's another rules you should follow. That is very difficult. And then I place so many question marks. That is, you should take rest 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes you should take rest during a continuous work with this computer, and then take 20 seconds, means 20 every 20 minutes. If you have to should take rest for 20 seconds, and that during your rest you should look 20 feet away. 20, 20, 20. And if you do it regularly, then you will get not only the physical comfort, but I'm 100% sure you will get the mental comfort. And this is very, very, very important in this COVID-19 situation. You should get some mental comfort during your work. And there's exercises, of course. So many exercises very much related with the yoga exercises, yoga. And you should do yoga. You should do these exercises. All the exercises are stretching exercises. And by these stretching exercises, you can improve your, you can decrease the stress condition, not only the physical stress, but also the mental stress. And again, you can increase the productivity of your own productivity. So this is the ending of my presentation. And thanks again, I'm wishing to give my thanks to all participants for your active attention through your net. But please do consider yourself. This time, this from the 1:45 to till now, it is almost 4. You are watching you are conversing, you are talking with your monitor. So you may develop some type of problems. So you just do some exercises now. So this is, I should stop sharing my screen. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir, for giving the opportunity to talk with you. And now, Maitri, if they have some, because already we are running short of time. It is already 3:56. So if they have some questions, they can ask. So, or I may conclude the session. Thank you. Thanks a lot for giving me opportunity to talk.
Thank you, sir.
Students. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent and insightful presentation. You reminded us our university days as you usually made the most complex concepts understandable. Your lecture was particularly appropriate at this time as we could know how we can reduce our work-related stress during this new normal life in our in-house workstation and how we can avoid the ergonomic hazards during this situation. And various kinds of musculoskeletal disorders due to workstation, due to constant posture. Thank you, sir, again for your nice presentation.
Thanks, sir.
Now,
Okay, sir.
Now we request Maitri, request to Amarasda for.
Yes, sir. Now I request our internal quality assurance cell coordinator, Dr. Amaresh Mondol, to give vote of thanks for this session. Please transfer the microphone to sir.
Everybody. It is my privilege to have been asked to on the physiological well-being during the COVID. The vision of the webinar topic is unquestionably the most important and valuable to all of us at this pandemic moment. On behalf of IQAC, Krishnagar Government College, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to Professor Dr. Gautam Pal, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Kolani University, and Professor and former Dean of the and former Superintendent of Physiology, Dr. Professor University of
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. You are not audible clearly.
For sparing their valuable time and sharing their ideas, ending and thoughts with all of us. I am sure that their two most informative and splendid presentations enlightened all. I wish to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Moitri Banerjee and Dr. Achinto Mohan Goswami, joint conveners of this webinar, for their successful organization of this webinar. I express my warm thanks to Dr. Kaushik Sarkar and Dr. Krishnendu Sarkar for providing technical support and making the program successful. I extend my hearty thanks to all members of the IQAC Krishnagar Government College, all my esteemed colleagues, non-teaching staff, and more than 800 registered participants of this webinar for their active participation. Now, I would like to express my heartiest thanks to Dr. Shobhan Yogi, officer in charge of the college, for his faith, support, and guidance towards organizing this webinar. Finally, I would like to express to the Education Department, Government of West Bengal, for direct patronizing all activities in our college. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
We have a request to all of you. All participants, please fill up your feedback form provided within 12 o'clock tomorrow, 11 July, for receiving the certificate of this webinar.
Okay.
Please.
So just another information to from organizing secretary, organizing committee. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to say something about that. We are most completing our registration for these webinars more than 700, and this is very happy news. And it means that our webinars will place a grand success. And thank you our sirs, honorable speaker Professor Gautam Pal sir, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Kollan University, and our sir Professor Somnath Gangopadhyay sir, Professor and Head, Department of Physiology, University of Calcutta. And I also thankful to our YC officer in charge of our college, Dr. Shobhan Yogi, and Sir Dr. Amoresh Mandal, IQAC coordinator, and thankful to all of my colleagues of my college, and also thankful to of my departmental colleagues, Dr. Moitri Banerjee Mukherjee, head of the department, Dr. Achintoman Goswami, Dr. Krishnendu Sarkar, and at last but not least, thank you all of participants for spending their time and attending this webinar to success our just an effort. Thank you all. And I think this is the end of the session. It's over, Maitridi?
Yeah, over. It's over. See, switch off the system.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Switch off.
Switch off the system.
Everybody leave the platform gradually. Okay.
Oh, thank you.